The Florida Congresswoman Cammack voted against the impeachment and joins us now to explain why she voted the way she did. Thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you with us. Explain to the folks at home why you did not vote to impeach President Trump.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me, and I apologize. I know I'm looking like I'm auditioning for the Weather Channel right now, but actually we're en route to another meeting with the state party here in Florida, and it really gets to the heart of the last 12 days. In fact, my first 12 days in office as a representative. You know, I voted to oppose the impeachment because our country right now does not need more political gimmicks. This whole process was just a political sham and really a disservice to our founding fathers who took this move very seriously. And none of the due process was in place for the president. There was no judiciary hearings. There was no debate. It was simply a rushed process to make a political point. And I'm so disappointed in my colleagues that voted that way. But, you know, they have to vote their conscience at the end of the day. For me, it was a constitutional move. It was the right move to oppose this sham impeachment, because right now more than ever, we need leaders that have cool, calm heads that are looking to do the work that the American people sent them to Washington to do.
Congresswoman, take us back a week ago Wednesday. What happened to you, and what did you do after all heck started breaking loose?
Well, you know, I was actually on the House floor when the Capitol was breached. I had begun receiving text messages from Capitol Police saying shelter in place, or move away from the windows and doors. And it was when I saw people running through the windows, and I was getting messages from my husband, who's actually a SWAT medic, who was on the Capitol grounds with my team in our office. And he was giving me updates and screenshots of what was happening outside, that I really started to understand the seriousness of the situation. I had two Florida colleagues with me, Scott Franklin and Byron Donalds, and we were 20 feet away from when the Capitol Police drew their guns on the House floor. And what proceeded after that was a witnessing of clashes between rioters and police, violence. You hear gunshots. You know, I was right there hearing that. We ran for about 10 minutes underground in the tunnels to get to a secure location. And that was just a heartbreaking moment for me, for our nation. Our republic is so much bigger and better and stronger than this moment in time. And so the security that you're seeing in Washington, D.C. is, of course, in response to that, and hopefully a strong deterrent to anyone who's looking to incite violence. But we need to be clear about this. The people who stormed the Capitol, they had ill will and bad intentions. They came prepared with flex cuffs and preparations to really do battle. Because people who really believe in the law and order of this country, who believe in our Constitution, they wouldn't be attacking police officers. They wouldn't be going after our Constitution and our establishment the way that we have set up here, our nation's capital. So at the time, I was more infuriated than anything. In the days that have come since, I've really started to process the gravity of the situation and realize how close to danger we really all were. But at the moment, I was extremely furious and watching my colleagues in Capitol Police push back against these rioters.
And you're also taking some action, Congresswoman Cammack. You are a steering member of this effort you've introduced this Save Democracy Act. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, it gets back to the core issue of why we objected to the electoral certification of those particular states in the first place. So many people have accused us of making this about overturning the election or being a political ploy. Absolutely not. They never had that argument when the Democrats did it 4 years ago or in 2005. And so it was just ludicrous. I had just taken my oath of office. And really what it gets down to is Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2. We have to hold these states accountable that allowed their lower circuit courts or their state election officials to usurp their state legislature's authority to determine the time and manner of which their state elections took place. So this broke the integrity and the trust in our electoral system, and that's what the Save Democracy Act is all about. It's led by Chairman Jim Banks, who is spearheading this effort. We have some very strong common sense measures that we're going to push for to put in place to restore the faith in our election system. If Americans don't feel confident going into the ballot box and that their vote is being counted as it's intended to be cast, what the heck are we doing here? And that's something that we're not going to let go of. We're going to fight hard all the way to make sure that every American's voice, every legal ballot gets cast, and counted the way that it's intended to. So check out the Save Democracy Act. Again, RSC has been championing this and pushing this. We've got a lot of co-sponsorship and support. If your representative isn't on it, encourage them to do so.
By the way, we have some pictures of you serving coffee to some police officers. Give us the background on this, please.
So, you know, laughingly, I used to be a waitress back in the day, and when I was up in D.C. just a few days ago, I couldn't get over how many guardsmen and women we had standing out in the cold, sometimes pulling 12, 14-hour shifts. And for anyone who's been to Washington, D.C., especially in the winter when you're standing in the shade, you freeze. And so my team came up with a great idea. They said, hey, why don't we just go get a bunch of coffee and go talk to these guys and gals out here, and maybe they can warm their hands up. We'll have a good conversation. Just thank them for answering the call to serve their country. And so we actually got to meet several members of the Virginia, the Pennsylvania, New York, and Ohio Guard. And I just had a conversation today with our Florida Guard. They are en route to Washington, D.C. I'm so proud of every single man and woman who has answered the call to serve. They're doing a tremendous job protecting our nation's capital right now, lowering the temperature. And I just wanted to show a little bit of appreciation and support. I actually took about 50 of them on a behind-the-scenes tour of our nation's capital. It was the least that we can do considering everything that they're putting on the line and sacrificing for us right now.
All right, Congresswoman Cammack, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck to you, and stay safe. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.